opportunity to get inspired and to build together. What I love about her, okay, she's in the healthcare system, is that she brings this sort of co-creative, co-powership to the healthcare system. And she brings it with this fierce femininity that is so needed, that nurturing love that we women naturally have. Amen. Amen. That's right. That is so what's up. She has that. And we need more of it. The old structures are falling apart, new ones are building. And so I give a deep, deep bow to this woman who is constantly working hard to make sure there are platforms like this for all of you to play, to thrive, to be inspired. Okay, so I'd like to introduce Dr. Leslie Hewitt.
Wow. See lots of faces out there. You are wandering from room to room, looking for your diamond necklace, only to discover you're wearing it. That's a quote by Rumi. Your diamond necklace is your gifts to the planet. And we are waiting for you to show up, to start really bringing out your love, joy, appreciation, creativity, empowerment, positive expectation, hopefulness, your diamond necklace. Albert Einstein says, intuition, not intellect, is the open sesame to your soul. Together, I want to hear open sesame. 1, 2, 3. Open sesame to your soul. That's Albert Einstein, one of the greatest intellects of our time, is saying that intuition is the open sesame to your diamond necklace, to your soul purpose, to your higher power. And we are waiting. Max Planck, the guru of quantum physics back in the 1940s. We're in 2014, and it came out in the 1940s, and we are just now understanding that we are quantum particles. We are quantum intuition. We're filled with diamonds, trillions of cells filled with diamonds, the tree of life, our DNA. Proteins that flip based on your choice, your intuition, your environment, your tribe, your community, the food you eat, the water you drink, the air you breathe, and the thoughts you think. Thank you for that neuroplasticity, Dr. Chatfield. We have a lot of doctors in the room, so thank you, doctors, for being here. Can I just ask the doctors to stand up? We do have doctors in the room. Thank you, doctors. Thank you. Thank you. We have a lot of tribal leaders in the room. Tribal leaders, please stand up. If you're running a community, please stand. Yes. Thank you. If you have a spine, please stand up. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. And start standing up for what you believe. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief, says that in this incredible quantum world filled with neuroplasticity and pathways, on the cell membrane, we all remember that cell membrane, right? That cell membrane assesses the environment and adapts to survive. And on the cell membrane are receptor sites. And any thought you have creates a molecule that lands on that receptor site, goes into the channel, into the cell, and starts flipping on the proteins on that DNA. So for all of you, we're going to just get rid of this idea that it runs in the family. It doesn't run in the family. You have a genetic predetermination, but you can change that because genes are just proteins that respond to signals and to the environment. The environment of food, the environment of anger, or the environment of love. Pretty powerful stuff. Pretty powerful. So if you have a belief system that whatever condition you have runs in the family, let's discuss it. Because between the environment and that cell membrane is space. And we know from quantum theories now that that space is so important. And in that space is your belief system. It's your intuition. Your body was designed to give you clues. In our culture, we call them symptoms. In some of the medical model, they call them diagnoses. I call it diagnonsense. Diagnonsense. We're in a country where follow the money is the name of the game. But I'm telling you, we can change the rules to the game. We just need to stand up. There's another rule in this country. Follow the patent. Right? Why do you think that people are getting switched from prescription to prescription? This is the controversy that I want to bring to the WOW Talks. I'm always looking for whistleblowers and healing stories and miracles and doctors that are willing to speak the truth. We all have a malpractice code that we have to follow. And so I'm looking for the doctors that, within their scope of practice, like we have a psychiatrist in the room, she can share some things that are pretty powerful with some of the drugs that she's been prescribing. And she's willing to speak the truth. Did you know that our animals are being prescribed more drugs too? Did you know that? Oh, yeah. Isn't it amazing? We're even putting our dogs on antidepressants. I've never seen a depressed dog. Intuition. Not symptoms, not diagnonsense. Intuition. So if you have some intuition, it's time to listen. What would your body tell you if it knew it was listening? If it knew you were listening? So we've got these thoughts that create pathways. That's what you're getting from your family. That does run in the family. You have belief systems and behaviors and thought patterns that you have been running. And some of the research says that about 60,000 thoughts a day are running through your system, and 80% of them are non-supportive. So it's time to start catching those non-supportive thoughts and start building some new pathways. So I'm going to share with you one of my pathways that I have rewritten. And you can do that. You can get into that DNA based on your belief system, your environment, and the words you use. So I'm going to share. I haven't shared my story with anyone, and one day I will. I'm just going to share just a tiny little story today. I've heard most of your stories, and a lot of people are sharing their stories from a place of ownership and love and compassion and growth and healing. I love to hear stories. And we're at the Great Awakening, where we're sharing stories because we know they're unhealed events that need to heal. And we're healing. So here's my story. Just one little bit of it. When I was 2 years old, I went out to the street to play. And it was back in the day when kids were actually playing in the streets, right? It's crazy not to see children playing in the streets anymore. Which, by the way, there is a book that says we have less violence on the planet today than ever in world history, culturally, globally, and chronologically. Less violence. But we live in a country that has a belief system of fear and violence. So I want to just drop that seed out there. I'll share more of that with you. Less violence. And guess what the number one reason why we have less violence? Because women are getting more empowered. And the research says the continents and countries that have more educated women have less violence. Pretty interesting, right? We're, for the first time in women's history, educated, empowered, and we have our own money. So, 2 years old, I go out to the street to play, and I rallied all the children and asked them to go into the house and get a towel. And it was back in the days of the clothes pins, when you hung up your clothes outside. And it was before the superhero thing. It was just something I had within me. I asked all of the children at the age of 2 to put on their towels and become heroes. And it was leadership starting to show up at a very young age. So I want you all today to confess your greatness. I confess I'm a leader. Start confessing your greatness to each other. And here's how I had to rewrite the pathway. My father said, "You are a bossy little girl." That's what he said to me. "You're a bossy little girl." And I remember it too. I have an imprint. I remember hearing that. And I internalized it and thought, doesn't feel bossy. But he's my dad, and I respect him, and he was a good man. He passed away last year. And what's interesting, every year, we have these traditions that go through our families. Every year at Thanksgiving, when we were sitting around the table eating turkey, that was one of the family stories. "Oh, yeah, you were such a bossy little girl. Do you remember when you were 2 and you went out and made everybody a superhero?" And I finally, years and years and years and years and years, and then I became a chiropractor and did some work on neurology and started studying quantum physics, and I realized, that is a pathway I need to rewrite. So I went back to the 2-year-old girl, and I bent down to her and said, "You are a leader."
Yes.
I confess my greatness. That bossy little girl, and do you know what's really cool? And you don't have to have a parent around to do this work. But I did go to my dad, and I rewrote the story for him too. And my brother, who was hearing the story year after year after year, I rewrote the story for him too. So now, my dad passed away thinking I was a leader, and my brother thinks I'm a leader. The bossy girl's gone. She didn't exist. Just in my family, leadership was not recognized because a leader hadn't emerged in my family of origin. Do not underestimate your mommy-daddy stuff. Do not underestimate that stuff. Start rewriting some of the stories that are holding you back from your diamonds. I want to also share with you that there are metrics that we have been using to analyze success. And I would suggest to you that they're very patriarch. Very patriarch. Get to the bottom line, get those numbers, money, bank account. I'd like to introduce to you the new metrics. The metric that I would love for you to start assessing yourself with is intuition, wonder, curiosity, creativity, a good night's sleep. How's that for a metric? I had a great night's sleep. I am successful. You can get so much done on a good night's sleep. And here's another pathway from my father when I was a little girl. If I was having a bad day, I was a pretty happy kid, but every once in a while I'd have a bad day and I'd go to my dad, hey, I'm having a bad day. Or my mom. My mom passed away as well. And they would just say, have a good night's sleep, and it'll be gone tomorrow. And you know what? I believe that. So to this day, I have a good night's sleep, and it's amazing how things go away. What I have discovered in my good night's sleep is when I go to bed at night, I enter universal intelligence. I get into my innate intuition, and I check in and go, what is here? I'm going to give it up. And if there's any problems, I just go, it'll be taken care of tomorrow. And do you know what's amazing? When I wake up in the morning, the solution has shown up. So start assessing your success with happiness, a good night's sleep, a new day, curiosity, love, joy, appreciation. And I'm telling you, these pathways can be rewritten. Start believing that the world is a beautiful place filled with love. Stop thinking that it's filled with violence, corruption, and it's getting worse. Because what I know to be true with the quantum particle is that the more we raise our amplitude of love, we raise the vibration on the planet. We start changing the game. The rules of the game can change. I have a little story to share. I witnessed this. At my pool, the boys and the girls were having a game. And the game at the pool was whoever got the most toys won. And there was balls and noodles and, you know, the typical toys that children play. And the ages were from 4 to 9. And why do I know this? I asked all the kids. I actually went out and started, observing and creating sort of a study out by the pool. I'm kind of crazy that way. I'm an observer. So I'm sitting and I'm watching. How old are you? 4. Good. How old are you? 9. And then I see this guy in the hot tub who looks like he's sort of orchestrating the game. So I get in the hot tub and I kind of sit beside him and I go, how old are you? He goes, 9. I go, so what's going on with this game? He goes, well, it's the boys against the girls and we're all playing for $5. I go, that's pretty cool. So, how do you know who wins? He opened up his hands, and he goes, I've got the winning toy right here. It's a treasure chest. Don't tell anybody. I said, young man, you are ready for Wall Street. I said, do you know that that's cheating? He goes, it doesn't matter. I want the $5. We're going to Hawaii next week. The whole family's going, and I need spending money. I said, that's cheating. What if I tell the girls that you have the winning toy? He goes, don't do that because I really need the $5. Here's the point. All the girls need to do is hold up a ball and say, this is the winning toy. And they just change the rules. Do you get it? Do you get how powerful that story is? That doesn't need to be the winning toy. Follow the money and follow the patent doesn't need to be the winning toy. We need to change the rules. So, why the wow talks? Here we go. We need to start raising women up because we know that there's less violence on the planet when we do so. We need to raise them up, and our young girls too. We need to get them educated, empowered, and holding some money. Then we move them into government, legislation, education, the school system, corporate policy. And then we start working with some of the corporations that we want to see changes, like Monsanto. Right? We don't want Roundup in our food. We don't want fluoride in our water. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So we've got to start holding up the ball and saying, this is the winner over here. We want organic food. We want corporate policy with integrity. We want music and fitness back into our school systems. We want the kids to learn information that is going to serve the planet. We don't want to dumb them down. We want some new empowerment, integrity on this planet. And all we need to do is change the rules. Let's get these women educated so we can bring down some of the violence. Let's move over to the Middle East and help those ladies out over there. Let's move around the planet, because it's not just us. We think we're all it here in America. I want to remind you, there's 7 billion people on the planet. There's only 300 million people in this country. We're only 5% of the world population. Isn't that crazy? We think we're it. We're 5% of the world population. We're using over 50% of the world pharmaceuticals. Did you know that? We are getting medicated. So here's what my tagline is. Stop medicating the messenger. Your intuition is being medicated. Your trillions of cells are being damaged with those medications. Those proteins on the DNA that are flipping switches are flipping switches for cancer, heart disease, diabetes, brain problems, heart, kidney, liver, GI, gut, leaky brain, right? Gut health determines everything. So if you've got any puffiness, you need to take care of that. You need to start taking ownership of all of this. I'm very serious about this, and this is why I had to launch this, the WOW Talks. We were the WOW Factor. It's now the WOW Talks, because we need to start talking. We need to start talking. We need to start speaking the truth. We need to change the rules of the game, and we need to acknowledge that we are a quantum community that is co-powered. We co-create, we cooperate, we collaborate. We don't compete. We don't need to do that boys and girls thing. We don't compete. We need to come together to co-create, to love each other, to rewrite some of our pathways. It's so easy once you do it once. So what I love about what I do, I'm a chiropractor. I get to practice every day. It's not a business, it's a practice. I encourage whatever you're doing, start calling it a practice. Start practicing your greatness. It does require practice. Like playing the flute, you have to practice. Like being the best at anything, you have to practice. Start practicing your greatness. Start practicing the words that serve. I'm writing a book called The New Glossary. There are words that have higher calibration, that have higher integration, that come from a place of higher power and divinity. There are words that you're using that are not serving you, and they are undermining some of your products and services. So the new glossary, you're going to want to learn some of the glossary. And there is some neuro-linguistic information in there, because I believe that the kids are losing some of that neuro language. We've got to bring that back. I also wrote a book called Little Miss Serotonin, which is our happiness brain chemical, right? So it's a whole book on happiness and every day what that little girl does to get happy. And hopefully the parents reading the book will understand that these children are leaders in training. You are a leader. That's what we need to tell the children. Thank you all for being here on a Saturday. I am available all day. I am here to connect and serve you. And I know that the best way for me to serve the planet is to serve you, because you all have greatness. You have diamond necklaces, and you've been wandering from room to room looking for your diamonds. And I'm telling you that they are here. They are in your cellular belief, your DNA, your relationships, your hair, your skin, your nails, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your intestines, all connected for the purpose of greatness. Start rewriting your stories. Start connecting with everybody here, and start making it your livelihood to practice every single day. Practice, practice, practice. Practice is the mother of skill. I love all those feminine cliches. We're on Mother Earth. We're in the Milky Way. It's a pretty cool galaxy called the Milky Way. I mean, if that isn't nurturing, right? Nothing like mother's milk. So start practicing. Practice is the mother of skill. Love each other up. Hug as many people as you can today. There is a placebo in love. There's a placebo in everything you share. Stop sharing your conditions and your pain stories and start sharing your greatness. The Wow Talks is all about you speaking your truth and confessing your greatness. We're going to bring more information to the stage so that we can rewrite the rules. And if we can get more of you speaking your truth and on purpose, with higher purpose, we can change this planet together.
Let's do it.
Yes. Woo! On the count of 3, as loud as you can, I want you to say yes. 1, 2, 3, yes! Thank you.